Hello world, today I'll tell you about all forbidden things and connections and how we get it into Pretrial Detention Center. Despite through inspections and upon arrival, when you arrive, you have to be scanning. Like at the airport, I told you this new way of scanning they got while I were there. It was still possible to smuggle in banned items. And on that time, I needed SIM cards and chewing gum so as not to be constantly eating on stress. And yes, chewing gum in the prison is prohibited because in case you can use it to make a bomb. And SIM cards were brought from freedom. And as we believed at that time that they wouldn't be monitored, we wouldn't be listening by administration, but it's a naive thing because every phone was not scanning, that administration were listening every phone call, even mobile one. And in women's prisons, there are no fixed rules and concepts, as I already told you, but it's really important thing because there are no concepts like in men's prison, and that leads chaos and destruction in relationships between women. And yet, no matter what kind of prisoners they are, deceiving the administration is a common practice, and everyone becomes united because it's like a good thing to full administration. And of course I had to divide all past things with them, like chewing gums. And thanks to this cooperation, the bans were passed on to those who had already undergone a search. And yes, it all sounds simple, but in reality most of bans were lost due to the vigilance of the administration. And based on calculation that 30% would be able to smuggle in and 70% would be lost, you ask free people, your friends, family, to bring more SIM cards and chewing gum when you meet them on court. And the mobile phone could be obtained in three ways. First one, I use it, and that's another story. I'll tell you how I use it. Free people hide the mobile phone in a transfer or parcel, and here are some of them, how they hide it. Second one, you buy it from the administration of the institution of this Pretrial Detention Center, but it's only working for privileged convicts who cooperate with them. In other words, to put it mildly, they called snitches, or this head of cell who is working with administration had the same privileges. And the third one, the administration gives phones to former employees, BSNIKs, as you remember. They were policemen, or they worked in these institutions and then they caught and now they are prisoners, so they call BSNIKs. And they already sell them to inflated price. I'll tell you which were, because I bought this first phone I bought cheaper, and then I understood how the calculation of the price is made. I'll tell you, watch my next video. So I used first method, but this is a separate story. It's really funny story, and it's gonna be in next video too. So, and there was a case when one of BSNIKs agreed on the details of an escape over the phone. Of course, all phones are tapped, and administration of this institution, they let him escape just outside the prison from the first exit, but there are two exits, and they get him to get away from first one to start another criminal case against him, because if he wouldn't exit first exit, it wouldn't be not a case of New Deal. So we learned it later, but on that day when this BSNIK wanted to get away, we were very stressed because there were shootings on the backyard. And I'll add two links. First one will be video, and second a text about it in Russian, but translator does a good job. You can learn about this day. And it was really funny that on his case he got, like, for example, maximum 5 years, but for escaping he could get more than that previous deal. And at the last and most interesting type of connection, except mobile phones, is roads. I was a roadie, and it's really interesting time, because when you are roadie, you have really interactive time, and times go faster. The roads, it's the life of the detention center. When lights off in cell, interesting life starts. The roads tap on the wall of the cell you need. They tap back. For example, every cell knows their signal, like 1212. That means like 105, room 105, or 121212, or it's every cell has its own signal. And when they heard it, they tap back, like we're ready to receive the road. And ropes are made from woolen clothes, and a sock is tied to it, where you put the contraband and weights. Next to the sock, you tie soap as weight, and you stick your hand out with the rope and twist it and throw it. Then receiving cell catches the rope and on a hand or a mop. And you could also build a road on the principle of cable car, like it's always be there, and you just getting rounds from this road. So that it would be constantly hang, and it would be always working. But administration mustn't see this, because if they see, you will get a lot of problems. So I was caught once, and I got lots of problems when I get to a colony, because I had bad characteristics that I ruin social rules, and like I'm, like I had bad characteristics, and it worked against me. It's work against me. But all this time of my time when I were roadie, it was incredibly interesting for me to stand on the roads, because all night you run from one window to another, providing communications and cargo to prisoners, and you're feeling yourself like not so useless sitting in this prison. And they transferred everything, in addition to phones and charges, cans of stew, warm clothing, and lots of things, books, and for example, if there is a thin, a huge weight and a small round, like I couldn't get this huge weight through the window, so I was searching. There were like window in every shkanar, every shkanar had a window, and I was searching a huger hole where I can get this book or something really huge, and then I had to get it in my cell between windows, and it was really interesting. And then you run all night to provide communications, so you can sleep all day after, and times go faster. And once a phone was being transported with all its components, and some cargo got lost. Like when phone goes, before it, because all roadies know that phone will go, and it's it's like it's known before. It's not like you take cargo and there is a phone. No, just before 1-2 days, people said that a phone will go on that day and it will go to that room. You have to put this cargo not to that room and to another. For example, like it go to 105, and through 105 you can go like 205 or 305, yeah, to get road to 105. And they say like 205 is roadies, and don't send cargo to 205, send it through another one, yeah. And they started that people who send phone, they started to call, I mean on mobile phones, they started to call to every cell where it was going through to find out what happened. And when I got a mobile phone and get it where they send it where they said to me before. And of course, one of the roadie was guilty on that because phone was stolen. And I remember a girl on the phone who sent this cargo. She was being very tactless, and I had to put her in her place because it was extremely unpleasant for me. I always take any job or task very seriously, and it's my name. Why I would do something against my name? Yeah, if I do any job, I do it in the perfect way as it could be. Yeah, and when she asked me, like she was really tactless. Yeah, she was saying a lot of bad words to me, and it was unfair. So I said to her, just stop, what are you doing? Like and she said, who are you? And I just replied simply that I just said my name. That she said, who are you? I said, Sima. And she immediately changed her tone. She apologized and said that she had heard about me from the gym, and that she trusted me. And it was a small thing, but it was nice. So in the end, that people who sent cargo, they found the missing phone with a dishonest roadie. And I wondered how they could have access to them since it was a sealed compartment, yeah. To these days, it remains a mystery to me, but the fraudulent roadie returned everything, and everything ended in like happy end. Yeah. So next time we'll tell you about how I get my first phone and lots of interesting stories. Stay in touch. Bye.